You're 43 now. The number on the spreadsheet last January read $5.2 million. You didn't tell anyone the first time. You didn't tell anyone this time either. But this year is different. Not because of the number, because of what almost happened in April. That's where this one starts. Your father collapsed in the garage on a Tuesday. Not dramatic. He was moving a paint can off a shelf, and his knee gave out, and he went down wrong, and by the time your mother found him, he'd been on the concrete for 11 minutes. An ambulance, a hospital, a word, fracture, that your mother repeated on the phone like she was still deciding whether to believe it. You drove out that same night. 2 hours, the same stretch of highway you used to drive to check on a strip mall with a dry cleaner in it. The hospital room smelled like every hospital room. Your father, smaller in the bed than he is standing up, embarrassed more than hurt. Your mother in the chair beside him, holding a paper cup of coffee she wasn't drinking. The surgeon used the word elective about the second procedure, then the word not covered, then a number, $34,000. Your mother didn't look at you when she said it. She looked at the coffee cup. Here's what it actually costs, staying quiet in a moment like that. You had the $34,000. You'd had numbers larger than that sitting in a money market account since you were 34, the kind of number that exists specifically for moments exactly like this one. And you knew it the second the surgeon said it. You said nothing, not because you didn't want to help, because helping meant explaining how, and explaining how meant unwinding 9 years of a story they'd already accepted about who you were. So you did what you'd always done. You found the quiet version. You called the hospital's billing office the next morning, alone, from the parking garage, and asked about payment plans, financial assistance programs, anything with a name that sounded like relief instead of rescue. You learned the hospital had a charity care fund for exactly this situation, underused, mostly because nobody in a state of panic thinks to ask about it, and you spent 40 minutes on hold learning the qualification thresholds down to the dollar. Your father's income, on paper, qualified for an 80% reduction, $6,800 instead of $34,000. You paid the $6,800 yourself, routed through an account you'd opened years earlier under a name that wasn't quite your legal name, but was close enough that nobody at the hospital blinked, an account you'd used exactly twice before for exactly this reason. Your mother thinks a nonprofit covered it. Your father thinks Medicare covered more than it did. Neither of them has ever seen the actual bill, because you made sure of that before either of them could ask. This is what it actually looks like, the machinery underneath staying quiet. It isn't a lie, exactly. It's a series of small, precise redirections, each one requiring you to be smarter and faster than the moment, so that the moment never has to know what you actually are. That's not the part that stayed with you, though. The part that stayed with you happened 3 weeks later, at your parents' kitchen table, when your sister said something she didn't mean as an accusation. I don't know how you're going to help with this if it happens again. You're barely keeping your own head above water. She wasn't being cruel. She was doing the math she'd always done, the same math your whole family had done since you were 26, back when the math was actually true. Modest apartment, old car, a brother who'd never once in 17 years mentioned a bonus, a raise, a promotion in any specific dollar amount. You'd built that impression on purpose. You just hadn't accounted for what it would feel like to sit across from your sister, holding the actual solution to her actual fear, and hear her worry about your ability to help. You said something vague about being fine. She nodded, unconvinced, and changed the subject to whether your father should get a second opinion. You drove home that night doing the math differently than you ever had before. Not the net worth math, the other math. How many more moments like this one were coming? How many more rooms you'd sit in, holding the answer, watching people you loved carry weight you could remove with a phone call, choosing every single time not to make it. Here's the thing nobody warns you about the compounding. It isn't just the money that compounds. The distance compounds too. At 26, the gap between what your family believed and what was actually true was small enough to close in a single conversation. I'm doing better than you think. That's all it would have taken. At 33, the gap required an explanation. The strip mall, the dry cleaner, the 2 hours out and back on Saturdays nobody asked about. At 38, crossing $1 million, the gap needed a story. Not a lie, a story, context. Years of context, compressed into an evening that would change how every single person in that family looked at every single thing you'd said for over a decade. Now, At 43, with $5.2 million and a father who nearly went bankrupt over a knee surgery you paid for in secret, the gap doesn't need a conversation anymore. It needs a reckoning, and reckonings are exactly the thing you've spent 17 years avoiding, one quiet redirection at a time. You went back to work the following Monday like nothing had happened, because to everyone at your job, nothing had. Your job doesn't know what your father's knee cost either. Your job knows you as a person who's good at what you do and unremarkable about everything else. The same careful blankness you've cultivated everywhere, in every room, for your entire adult life. That week, a coworker, Priya, 2 cubicles over, someone you'd had maybe 40 minutes of total conversation with across 3 years, mentioned she was underwater on a car loan. $412 a month on a vehicle worth less than what she owed on it. A fact she'd learned only after asking a dealership for a trade-in quote out of curiosity. You listened. You said the right things. You went home. And then you did something you'd never done before, not once in 17 years of careful invisibility. You looked up her loan servicer online, found the early payoff calculator and ran the numbers. $9,100 would clear it completely. Today, no more monthly bleeding. You didn't do it. You thought about it for 4 days. The way you think about everything, methodically, from every angle, and you concluded, correctly, you still believe, that paying off a coworker's car loan anonymously would raise more questions than the $34,000 hospital bill ever could have, because at least family comes with a reason to help. A coworker doesn't, so you let it go, but you noticed something in yourself that week that hadn't been there before, a kind of friction, a tax, almost, on every ordinary interaction, now that you knew exactly how easy it would be to remove almost anyone's smallest financial fear, and chose, again and again, not to. By June, your father was walking without the cane. Your mother stopped mentioning the surgery except to say, occasionally, how grateful she was for whatever program had covered so much of it. You let her keep believing that. It felt, by then, less like a lie and more like a room you'd already built, one you were simply continuing to live inside. Your net worth crossed $5.5 million in August. During a week you were mostly thinking about your father's knee and Priya's car loan and the strange new tax you'd started paying on every conversation that involved someone else's money trouble. You noticed the number the way you always notice it. Briefly. Then you closed the tab and went back to whatever you'd been doing. The same reflex you'd built at 31 in a cereal aisle, except now the reflex felt slightly different underneath. Less like discipline, more like a habit you weren't sure you still agreed with. Here's what you've started to understand. Somewhere in the space between the hospital room and the number on the spreadsheet, the version of you that decided at 26 to stop upgrading your life and start compounding it quietly, that version was solving a real problem. You were broke, functionally, drowning slowly in small decisions that added up to nothing. Silence, back then, was armor. It protected the plan from a family that would have, understandably, wanted a piece of a plan that didn't yet exist. But the plan worked. It kept working, for 17 years, long past the point where it needed protecting. And somewhere in there, the armor became something else. Not protection. Habit. A reflex so deep you'd stopped questioning whether it still served the purpose it was built for, and started simply doing it, the way you might keep locking a door in a house nobody's ever tried to break into. Your father almost went into real debt over a knee. Your sister genuinely worried you couldn't help. Priya is still paying $412 a month on a car worth less than the loan. None of that had to be true. All of it stayed true because you let it. You're sitting in the same apartment tonight. 9 years, then some, it's 11 now, same furniture mostly. A few things replaced out of necessity, not upgrade. Your phone is on the counter. Your mother texted an hour ago, a photo of your father back in the garage, paint can in hand again, a joke about being more careful this time. You look at the photo for a while. Then you open the account you used for the hospital bill, the one with the name that isn't quite your name, and you look at the balance sitting inside it, untouched since April, still holding exactly what it held before you paid the $6,800. You think about Priya's car loan, about the $9,100 that would end it in one transfer, tonight, if you wanted it to. You think about your sister at that kitchen table, doing math about you that hasn't been true in a very long time. You don't do anything about any of it. Not tonight. But for the first time in 17 years, you notice yourself thinking about it differently. Not should I ever tell them, how much longer can I actually stand not to? The spreadsheet says $5.2 million as of January. It's higher now. You haven't checked. The number was never the hard part. It never was.